everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you already know. Go right down here. Yes, in your settings, look around, find your subscribe button, and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell so you know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, that beast, that algorithm that is presently dragging me by the neck up and down these internet streets. I really would appreciate your help with that. And right about here, that is our join button. That is for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of this reading club of ours, you will be supporting my little channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I will be so grateful. So grateful for that support. Also, if you want to do a one-time donation to the channel, our super thanks button is right over there, and all donations are greatly appreciated. I have some shout outs I need to do. I need to shout out Arabella Horvich. Arabella, thank you for the super thanks. Thank you for supporting my channel. I just appreciate it so very much. Also, Elegant Paws, you are such a great supporter of this channel. You are so appreciated. And I know that how lucky I am to have you. And I so appreciate your super thanks. Also, I want to welcome back Julianne Anderson. She left us for a while in our reading club, but she is back, and I am happy to have her back. Julianne, welcome back. Don't leave us anymore, okay? We are just so happy to have you. All right, with all that said, let's get to the read. Let's get to the read, y'all. When I was putting the read together today, of course, I did it like I do it every day. And that means I was up and down these internet streets. I was up and down and all around trying to figure out what is going on. What are the squatties talking about? I was over on Instagram. I was over on TikTok. I did not go over to the dark side because I did a podcast about the dark side today, and I had so much fun doing it. And if you want to see that podcast, I am going to put a link at the end of this podcast. Go over and check it out because we're talking about all that nonsense that they do over there on the dark side, on just the dark side on this particular podcast. So it's going to be at the end of this podcast, a link, a direct link to it. But I did not go over there after I did my podcast. So I did, like I said, I went to TikTok, and then of course I landed in my favorite place, my favorite spot, my home away from home, and that would be X, formerly known as Twitter. And going all around these internet streets is one thing that everybody is talking about, and that is Harry, our Prince Charming, our global advocate, is talking and addressing NATO. Every time you think Harry has surprised you, Harry levels up every time. He is such a boss. He is. And he is doing big things that he never would have been able to do if he had stayed in that family. He is really showing them up. Harry is showing them up and showing out. He is showing up and showing out, and I love it. And let me tell you, the squatties are going wild for Harry. Everybody loves Harry. And I'm telling you, my timeline is just post after post after post after post of Harry sitting on this big screen and all of these important people sitting around listening to what he has to say. And there Harry is from his home in Montecito, where he shares with his wife and two beautiful kids. And they have been talking, oh, Harry and Meghan is getting a divorce. Harry and Meghan is getting a divorce. Harry and Meghan, I'll tell you one thing they get. They are getting to the point where they pay you no attention. That's what they are getting up to. They are getting to the place where they pay all this nonsense that they create over on not me not X over on GB News and Talk TV and all that nonsense, and all these flying monkeys be talking, and minions and all of these hags wish for thinking that his marriage was somehow fail. Harry has learned and is continuing to give y'all and pay y'all dust, and I love it because he has work to do. He cannot participate in this nonsense. In my podcast earlier, they were talking about he should, if he really want to stop all this talk about his marriage and stuff like that, they should show themselves, and maybe they should you know, be pictured with the kids for Halloween and all this kind of nonsense. Harry and them don't have time for that nonsense. They are just living their life. This is what these people don't understand. We squatties understand that Harry and Meghan are private citizens. They get to live their life the way they choose to. They don't have any obligation to come out to show us anything. They just living their life. And I love that for him because that's what we wanted for them when they were over in the sinking place over there. We wanted them to be able to be free to do what they're doing exactly right at this moment. And I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. I bet you it is somebody over on the other side of the pond over there. I bet you he is snatching the curtains out of the window, rolling around on them 300-year-old rugs, and just choking out, just have the butlers standing in line so he could just choke them out one at a time because he is angry because his brother always levels up. I love that for him. All right, we're going to start with this one right here. And like I said, I'm going to do quite a few of these about Harry at NATO because my timeline is just filled with squatties just loving on Harry. And I just love it. And this just came out of nowhere. I was not expecting it. I had my podcast all laid out, and what does Harry do? He blow it right up, and I love it. And we're gonna start with this one. It says, uh, today Prince Harry addressed, and we're gonna start with this one because my timeline is still full of this with Prince Harry. I cannot take it, but we're gonna start with this one. It says today Prince Harry addressed the NATO Military Committee at NATO headquarters on the role of We Are Invictus in supporting wounded, injured, and sick service members and veterans. Oh my goodness. Every time, like I said, every time you think Harry has pretty much done everything, and Harry always levels up. And I love this for him because Harry, I said it before, he is doing things he would never get to do in that wretched, wretched family. And this squad has said, OMG, one thing they discuss is how can Invictus help other allied countries? Oh, I hope and pray Invictus keeps growing. I love it, y'all. I am just fanning out. I am fangirling out over Harry. I am. We're going to put this one up here. It says, Harry giving some major statesman vibes. Speaking to NATO, IG role in service of wounded servicemen and women. Meltdown in 3, 2, 1. And you know them curtains are coming. You know he is snatching down them curtains over there in Kensington Palace. Or is it Adelaide Cottage? I don't know. It might be. It might be Windsor Castle. He has his own room over there. I don't know, but we all know he is snatching some curtains down somewhere. and he is rolling around on them 300-year-old rugs, you know it, and pulling sinks out of the wall and choking out butlers. You know he is, because he looks like he is just that type. And I just love that for them. I do, I do, I do, I do. Am I having too better? I'm just having too much fun because I love when Harry shows up and shows out. I love it. All right, here's another one. It said, wow, this is huge. Prince Harry briefed the NATO military committee at NATO headquarters about Invictus Games and how nations can establish or develop a relationship with the games. Ooh. Y'all, I got to calm down. I got to calm down. But I love seeing Harry and Meghan thrive because everything have been thrown at them, including the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink has been thrown at them. And they have absolutely been Teflon all the way through it. They have gave up on Harry. They have absolutely gave up on slandering Harry. Every now and then they'll say something out of the way, but they have pretty much gave up on him. They have not been able to make people hate him. They thought they were going to be able to because they have done it time and time again. This is what they do best over there. These rags, those rags, the Daily Fail, the Mirror, all of them. This is what they do. They have the ability um, to make people, and they have the ability to break people. But they wasn't able to break Harry. They couldn't break Harry, and they haven't broke Meghan. Although they're still trying, they are really, really still trying to break Meghan. But Meghan has a back full of steel, and I love it. I love it. And they're gonna get to the point too where they're gonna understand that they're not gonna be able to break her, and they're not going to be able to break their marriage. That's another thing they want to break. They done gave up on breaking Harry. So they want to break his marriage so he can separate from Meghan so they can get him back. But nah, that's not going to happen. Harry is sitting up there with his wedding picture over his shoulder in his house where his wife and babies reside. I love it. I love it. Here's another one says, on the 30th of October 2024, the Invictus Game Foundation briefed NATO Military Committee at NATO headquarters on the role of Invictus in supporting wounded, injured, and sick service members and veterans. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, addressed the military committee via VTC. And this squatty said, Prince Harry working with NATO is a big deal. It is a huge deal. It's huge. Looked like leaving the royal family didn't hurt him at all. I just love that for them over there. I do, I do, I do. And here's another one. Y'all know we got to keep it coming. It says Prince Harry's leadership with the Invictus Games is a testimony to his dedication, his compassion. He's given wounded warriors a global stage to shine, showing us all true strength and resilience. Oh, I am loving it. I'm loving it. Am I enjoying myself too much? It's just I love it, and I just know what's happening over across the pond. I know what's happening over there, and I just love it for them. This one says Harry looks to be at home where he and his wife lives. Laugh out loud. Maybe they'll stop it. Maybe this Harry said, you know what? I'm not gonna address you. I'll show you. Showing you is better than telling you. And there Harry is in his home with his picture, his wedding picture over his shoulder. Don't they say the royals, they speak in pictures? You remember how they would always be looking to see what kind of picture the queen would have on her desk when she did her Christmas address or any kind of address. or when they would when she would receive guests, and they would look on her table, see what kind of pictures that was on there, because they said the royals speak with their pictures. Well, y'all, I do believe Prince Harry is speaking with his pictures, because it is a picture right over his shoulder. And I'm telling you, I love it. It said, look at Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, addressing NATO military committee at the headquarters concerning concerning the role of Invictus in supporting wounded, sick service members and veterans. And look, oh, Harry on that big old screen. Oh, I just love it. I love it. Am I getting too excited? I don't know. And also, this came out. We're going to switch gears a little bit. This came out, and I found it very, very interesting. Y'all know how they are still trying to pursue Harry and his visa. And you know, the Heritage Foundation is going back to court trying to get the judge's um, ruling overturned, which is pretty much close to zero that that will happen. But they still doing it. They're still being the menace that they are. And they always be running to Trump, saying if Trump gets elected, then he's going to send Harry back and he's going to do this. Well, they ran to Eric Trump. And this is what Eric Trump said. He had some nasty stuff to say about Prince Harry, talking about Harry was the black sheep. And he ought to know something about being a black sheep, because his dad don't even love him. And we have well established evidence of that. He don't love anybody except himself. But I digress. I found this in the Independent, and it talks about what he said. He said Eric Trump launches an unprompted attack on black sheep, Prince Harry, and his unpopular wife, Meghan. He ought to know something about being unpopular. I'm just saying. And I am just praying. Well, I'm going to keep that to myself. But he got some nerve. That's all I can say. Because him and his brother and his sister, I mean, is it possible to have three black sheeps in the same household? I'm just saying. It says Eric Trump has lashed out at the Duke of Sussex, claiming that the only reason Prince Harry's U.S. visa is safe is because no one cares about him. No, it's safe because the judge said it was safe. And it's also safe because when they start talking about Harry's visa, then people are going to start talking about Melania's visa. Because we all know that Melania came into these United States under shady situation, saying that she got a visa where it was supposed to be for people who had these extraordinary gifts, that it was that special kind of visa. And we all know that Melania only gift she ever had was getting naked and rolling around on a rug. And so yeah, so I think the problem is they don't want people to start poking around in her visa. So now all of a sudden they saying, because nobody don't care about him. Well, you keep that up, Eric. Just leave him alone. That's all I'm saying. It said the former president's son recently discussed how much his father and current presidential candidate Donald Trump loved the late Queen Elizabeth II. But we also found out in a book recently that he may have loved the Queen, but the Queen didn't think very much of him. I guess he just chose to ignore that. But the Queen just absolutely did not find anything appealing about Donald Trump. At least that's what the author of the book says. I'm just saying. And it says, and how much damage Harry caused to the royal family after he and Meghan decided to leave their positions in 2020. What damage would that be? Telling the truth? If y'all would have left her and him alone, then it wouldn't been any damage done. if y'all had have treated her fairly and not had tried to destroy her, I mean, literally take her life, literally wanted to drive her to the point where she would unalive herself, then it wouldn't be this blowback. Like I said, they are good at the attack. They are good at the trying to destroy someone, but they just didn't expect the blowback. The blowback is just devastating for them. I saw when I was over on the dark side, this guy was talking about how Harry and Meghan had damaged the royal family because they're complaining, their Oprah interview and all of them just really damaged the mystique of the royal family. No, the royal family damaged the mystique of the royal family. Their behavior, how they act, Charles having his concubine and horse as his queen, what they did to Diana and then turned around and did to Diana's son. That is what damaged the monarchy. That's what damaged the mystique. And William's behavior consistently and the dogged pursuit of everything that his brother does to try to destroy it damages the mystique. Him running over there with his cup of salty tears every month, crying to Tom Sykes, talking about he don't want Harry at his coronation, how much he hates his brother, and on and on and on. That damaged the mystique of the royal family. And William choosing a woman who is so mediocre, even on his standard. He looks like a Nobel Peace Prize winner compared to his wife. And William is so mediocre. But can you imagine him being the Nobel Peace Prize winner when you compare him to Kate? This is the couple that's going to inherit the throne. That's why the mystique has been damaged. So y'all can just back up off of that nonsense. And the reason that the throne had the mystique that it had was because of Queen Elizabeth II, how the standard in which she held it. And if anything has damaged the royal mystique, is Charles over there accepting cash for honors and bags of cash from over there in the Middle East. Harry didn't have anything to do with that. And if I'll say it one time, I'll say it 1,000 times. If they had treated Harry and Meghan better, Spare would have been a different book. And Charles did the same thing. He talked about the Queen in his Dumblebee book, but the Queen had so much mystique and had built up so much goodwill that it didn't damage her. But Charles did not have the goodwill that the Queen had built up. Everybody know what kind of person he is, what a petulant human being he is. And he is the one too that left his son out on that island and his son's wife and his son's small child to be eaten by the wolves. So if they don't have anybody to blame, they want to try to blame Harry and Meghan for it, they might as well just stop that nonsense because it is of their own doing. That's all I'm saying. And it says the former president's son recently discussed how much his father, well, we talked about that. And it says Eric also told the outlet that Harry would not need to worry about being deported if his father is elected on November the 5th, even if his visa application has been questioned. Because what we'll do, we'll go and question Melania's. And I'm sure that they would find a whole lot more in Melania's than they would find in Harry's. And also, while we're digging in that, let's dig in Ozzy Osbourne's. Because we all know how many drugs he done did. And I'm sure we want to see what he said on his visa application. And Sharon Osbourne and them drug addict children, drug idle mind children of theirs. Let's poke around in that, and we can just poke around in so many more. If we're gonna poke around in Harry, we'll poke around in Nile Gardeners, because I still say it's something there. I see it behind them little beady eyes of his. It's something there with him. So if we're gonna poke around, let's poke around in everybody's, because that's what's gonna happen. Because if they poke around in Harry's, it's a lot of people gonna start poking around in what they done. And also, they said some shady stuff went on with Melania and her family members, how they got over here. So it is a lot of questions that needs to be asked, and evidently Eric don't want those questions asked. And I say, cool with us. Leave Harry alone, and is no more questions to be asked. I'm just saying. It says and then they talk about why, because Harry said that he referenced taking the coca and marijuana and psychedelic mushrooms and stuff like that. And look at Ozzy Osbourne is over here in America, and he don't even know he over here. He done took so many drugs, but yet and still we supposed to question Harry. And y'all have noticed that Sharon Osbourne has really been quiet on this subject, hasn't she? She has an opinion on everything. Skeletor has an opinion on everything, but she don't have a opinion on this. I'm just saying. And it says, and the Duke's public statements about the travel and go on. It said, truthfully, I don't give a D about Prince Harry, and I don't think this country does either. The 45th president's son told the Daily Mail. Well, I guess they heard that. I guess they didn't hear what they thought they were going to hear. They were happy to hear him say that Harry was a black sheep and that his unpopular wife. I guess they were happy with that, but they weren't happy with that immigration stuff, because they want Harry to be made to come back. And here, Eric Trump saying no, that's not gonna happen. And I had saw something earlier in the week where they were saying that they had put this to the Trump team, and the Trump team was really feeling kind of, no, that's not the way we want to go, because of Melania and because of Melania's parents. So evidently what I heard on the word on the curve, what I heard was true, because it is in this article. And then he goes on and talks about how amazing the late queen was and the way she welcomed his father and all that kind of nonsense. But basically, that's what I wanted to talk about. That he clearly made a statement that even after November the 5th, and if his father wins, that Harry's visa will remain closed. I'm sure the Daily Mail took that down and then went in his office. Whoever this journalist who was writing this story and interviewing Eric Trump, I bet you he went straight into his office and cried on his desk, because it's just that deep for them about Harry. They want Harry to fail. They want Harry to come back with his tail between his legs. And today, Eric Trump says that they are not going to bother Harry's visa. And also, Harry is speaking to the NATO committee on the big screen. Oh, what a bad day these people are having today. They are having a bad day, and I love it for them. All right, I'm going to put this up. This is more. It said, I love this era so much. Me too. Me too. Because Harry just keeps on winning. Harry and Meghan just keeps on winning. They keep on putting the points on the board, and I love it. I love it. And all the ones over across the pond are still trying to play catch up. Mm. And it says, while they are assuming and making up fake stories about Harry and Meghan are ahead of them, doing good, showing up, and just enjoying life. Nobody knows anything about Harry and Meghan anymore. We all find out at the same time. No sources or fake breaking news. I love it because we do. We find out just as soon as they find out. I remember Richard K was on one of those shows talking about they need to get back on social media and they need to start communicating with the press because we don't know what they're doing until they do it. Yeah, and that's the way they want it to stay, Richard. And this is a perfect example of it. They cannot get to the understanding. They can't get their head wrapped around the fact that they are not in the loop. They are not in Harry and Meghan's loop anymore. And I'll tell you one of the greatest things that happened about Colombia and Nigeria. They found out that they are not needed. They really thought that Harry and Meghan was going to need them for press. And when Harry and Meghan rejected every application they sent in, and all of them sent in those applications to cover the Columbia trip, and Harry and Meghan got all of this press without them, they found out nobody needs you. We don't need you. And I just love it. I love it, y'all. I love it. And this one says this: Prince Harry never needed to cosplay anything. We all know who do need to cosplay in some things. We already know. He doesn't need to yell that he's a statesman or want to end homelessness. He just shows up and does good. This is what Harry and Meghan are. They are just real. No need to play anything they're not. And that is fact. They show up, they keep on the grind, they keep grinding, they keep showing up, doing good, and they keep leveling up. Mm. And I love it. That's what I love. I love the fact that they level up. And this squatty said this: I spy. What do they spy? They spy a picture of Harry and Meghan on their wedding day. That is what they spy. And see, what does that do? That shuts it down. Because what I was saying earlier about royals and their picture placement, they know what it means. That means that Harry and Meghan are still happily married and he is in his marital home. Shut it down. I love it. I love it. All right, y'all. It is so many of these on my timeline. I just cannot do all of them, but this is the last one I'm going to do. And it says Prince Harry out here doing serious work with serious people. And this squatty said, Prince Harry, the one they keep telling us that wants to come back to royal work, cutting ribbons. Here he's busy doing work he would never have been allowed to do because it would mean would have been overshadowing the king and his heir, a free man. Where is the lie? Harry is doing work right now that he never would have been, excuse me, my voice is going in and out. He would have never been allowed to be doing. Harry is leveling up. And I love it for him. I love it for him. Because we all know that Harry was only allowed to go so far in his rankings in the military. He could not outrank William. Harry has been stunted in his growth all his life. He has always been a victim of the poppy syndrome, meaning that if he stuck his head up too high, they would cut it off. But now he is free to grow to the sky, and I love it. I love watching it. I'm just saying. All right, I'm gonna play this little soundbite. This is from uh Chris Ship, and like Byron said, with a P and not a T. Chris Ship, they call him Taliban Ship. And he made a statement about Harry really crying and wanting Harry to come home. And this squatter said, meanwhile, Chris, and she didn't spell it with a P, she spelled it with a T, aka Taliban ship. And we know why he is called Taliban ship. I don't know if you know, I'm gonna explain it really quick. You remember when Spare came out and Harry had his kill count on there. And he actually started to take the side of the Taliban against Harry. They are just like that. They will side with the Taliban, this renegade of people who suppress women's rights, and we all know what they do, and behead people and do all kinds of terrible things. And Harry was in a war against them, and Chris Ship actually took the Taliban's side against Harry. So from that point on, he has been known as Taliban Ship. And it says is longing to get the successes back because the others are boring. We be new. We be new. And so this is a soundbite of him crying about that. So hold up, I'm gonna put his picture up and then we will discuss.
I was at an event with Prince Harry just the other week, and it's always a reminder when Harry comes here and he's on good form of what the royal family is missing that certain element that Harry could bring to events that other members of the royal family might lack. You can talk about the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan. You know, she was a breath of fresh air in the royal family when the wedding happened before things all fell apart. So inevitably, when the royal family looks thin, there's talk about, oh, actually, should we get Harry and Meghan back?
So there you have it. They're contemplating if they should get Harry and Meghan back. Harry and Meghan is not coming back. They're not going. Do they honestly think Harry will come back and live in that little shanty shack that they had provided for him, and to live under the foot of his father and his brother? And it is so funny to me how they seem to want to describe what happened, the reason why Harry and Meghan left, talking about before everything went terribly wrong. Well, things didn't go terribly wrong. It was a calculated, organized, coordinated attack on this couple. Let's don't get it twisted. It just didn't happen. This was not something that happened organically. This was intentional. And Harry and Meghan said that they was not going to continue to put up with this nonsense that, well, we all know William, Kate, Camilla, especially Camilla and Charles, were doing to them only because they were popular. And that certain thing that Harry and Meghan has that the other ones don't, is called a personality. It's called being a human being. It's called having warm blood running through your veins and not that coldness over there. Yes, and the ability to relate to human beings. Because I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if they peel William's head back and he's actually a machine. The way he walks and talks and behaves. And we all know about Kitty Cat. These people are the most coldest, snobbish. And this is why this whole push about Christmas wanted to show that they are just ordinary people and they gonna be eating chocolate and eating turkey and all that kind of stuff, and they want to not be a part of the more of, you know, official, more of the traditional Christmas anymore, because they want to show everybody that they're like everybody else. Well, good luck. Good luck on that. Because you will never prove to us that you're like everybody else as long as your commute is in a helicopter. every day that we can't relate to somebody who gets ran a $26 million check every year for working all of what 3 or 4 weeks of the month, I mean of the year. We can't relate to that, but I'm just saying. But yes, that's Chris Ship just howling because he has to cover the left behind. And I'll tell you another time Chris Ship howled, and that was when Harry gave that interview. You remember when they were saying tabloids on trial, and he gave the interview to that lady and not him because ITV's royal editor, the top person, is Chris Ship. But Harry would not have nothing to do with him, and he went with that lady. I forgot her name. And so he still, feels some kind of way about that. He wants to get back into the business of being able to interview Harry. He misses him. That's all I can say. All right, y'all, let's go on. All right, I don't know who this guy is, but he showed up on my timeline, and I don't know if he's really a lord or not, but it says Lord Doran of West Winds. And he said this: inviting Prince Harry and Meghan to take on the royal family duties on their terms could be a powerful step towards modernizing the monarchy. Their openness, empathy, and personality would resonate with younger generation, improving the royal family transparency, credibility, and popularity. Well, Lord Darwin uh, of the West Winds, that's what Harry and Meghan did, and they didn't like it. Was you not paying any attention? This is what Harry and Meghan did. And the younger people responded to that. They loved Harry and Meghan. And that was their downfall because William and Kate and Charles and Camilla hated them for that. They could not stand it. Their jealousy ate them up. And so they got together and decided that Harry and Meghan had to go. And so they plotted and planned and just absolutely did everything that they could do to destroy them and separate them. Where have you been, Lord Darwin? Darwin, I think it's Doran of West Winds. Where have you been? Did you not see that? But it was a squatty who had something for him. And she said this: the royal family showed the world who they are. They used the British media to try to discredit and destroy Meghan. And as Maya Angelou so wisely said, when they show you who they are, believe them. Harry and Meghan will never trust the royal family again. They are 1,000 times better off being free of that family. God bless Harry and Meghan. I hope that clears that up for you, Dovan. What is it, Lord Dovan of the West Winds? And you need to pay better attention because if you had been paying better attention, you wouldn't be in these internet streets showing yourself up as a clown. I'm just saying. All right, Richard uh, Eden, aka Maureen, chose the very wrong time to try to take a dig at Harry. And I'm telling you, it gave me pleasure, and I'm sure it gave all of the squatties who went into his comment and went straight for his neck. And I only chose one or two of them because he wanted to try to say something disparaging against Harry. And he just chose the wrong time because just when he decided to tweet this thing out, it was being known. People was just finding out that Harry was addressing NATO. And this is what happened. We put it up. It says Richard Eden, aka Maureen, refreshing to watch the television documentary in which one Princess Diana's son is talking about how to help others instead of whining about his own problem. And this squatter came in straight for the neck and said, Harry is booked and busy today addressing NATO, so you can keep crying in your dog bowl. I mean, it was just perfect timing. It was perfect timing. And I know William is saying, every time I try to do something, Harry just ups and does something better. You know them windows, you know them curtains are coming down tonight. You know it is. But Richard Eden talking that nonsense. Yeah, okay. And this person addressed Richard Eden. It says, Richard Eden is so unserious because William is up here talking about homelessness, and this particular squatty posted every one of William's residents. This man, he posted 6 residents. So I thought he only had 4 or 5, but evidently this squad is saying he had 6. And it is totally nonsense. And he is so unserious. He is. He is. All right, y'all. I saw this and I just wanted to address it. Tom Sykes wrote this article and tried to associate Meghan. I'm not even going to read the article. I'm just going to tell y'all what it's about because it's not even worth reading. And Tom Sykes is pretty much here lately has lost his ever loving mind when it comes to Meghan. He has written some real disrespectful nonsense in his articles, in his column. The last one being that nonsense about Tina Brown talking about every decision that Meghan makes is crap. And then before that he wrote talking about she was a demon, her demon behavior and her psychopathic behavior when when they had dug that old horse up and start beating that old dead horse up and start beating it again, talking about she was a bully. And he wrote that nonsense when that mess showed up in the Hollywood Reporter. And he just systematically has continued to a downward spiral when he is starting to address Meghan because they are so mad. They are so mad that their plans are not working out. They have not been able to destroy her. She is yet standing. And so they are getting more and more crass with their attacks. And this one right here, and it's called Spies Taught Royal Family How to Slander U.S. Love Interest. And if you read it like that, you would think that he is taking up for her. But no, he is talking about Wallace Simpson and how the royal family uh, started a tittle tattle. That's what how he described it. A tittle tattle type gossip. How did he describe it? It was like a tittle tattle gossip type offensive towards Wallace Simpson, trying to get her to be to not marry Edward, not to be in Edward's life. So they pretty much slandered her. And they was talking about she had learned this some kind of technique in China, this exotic technique, this exotic, what kind of technique called the Shanghai. What did they call it? The Shanghai something. I can't remember. Where is it? It's called the I cannot, what is the name of that technique? Okay, yes, it's called the Shanghai grip they talking about. And he tries to, in a kind of weird and twisted way, to involve Meghan in it and try to suggest that somehow Meghan has done something in that way to capture Harry, to manipulate Harry in some kind of way. I was just so I'm just really, really, really tired of the attacks on Meghan. I just really am. And how gutter level they are becoming. I really feel that Meghan or somebody has to do something about it because they feel, you know, I think something should have been done to Jamie Clarkson because that was nothing but a gutter level attack. And this one is too. In a backhanded way, he is trying to associate her with Wallace Simpson, who had done nothing wrong because he is telling that what was told about her, this whole slander type of, well, we'll call it smear campaign against her, was totally and absolutely true. I mean, untrue. But yet and still, he's trying to associate Meghan with it. It is something, like I said, I am just so sick of them trying to associate Meghan with some kind of, they want to just say something that Meghan has done to Harry. She has beguiled him in some kind of way. She has hypnotized him in some kind of way. I have heard and saw people say that nonsense on panels. Instead of Harry just falling in love with this woman and wanting to protect her like a man is supposed to do. Will you protect what you love? You make sure that what you love is straight. But they want to say that Meghan has got him under a spell. It's all that undercurrents of trying to say stuff but not really saying it. That's what this article is. And I found this article and I am so glad because it is such a true article. And it says Meghan's unseen strength because she got a lot of it because she has gone through a lot. And I must say, I have said this time and time before. She is a better woman than me. I also said that about my mother. My mother was a better woman than me. But Meghan really is a better woman than me. Because I'm telling you, I would be cuss some people out and probably be in jail with some of the nonsense that's going on with that they have done to Meghan. But Meghan has taken it with grace, and I admire her for that. But like I said, she's a better woman than me. And I'm going to get into this article, a little bit into this article. And it says Meghan's unseen strength, standing by Prince Harry in the face of injustice. As January 2025 looms, with Harry set to take on the might of the Sun newspaper in court, it is impossible to overlook the emotional cost this legal battle will demand. While the case is his, the price may fall heavily on Meghan, Harry's wife. Where is the lie? Because they always attack her. Because when they attack her, they hurt her and they know that they hurt him as well. Maybe even more because them attacking her than them attacking him. It says in recent history, is anything to go by. The British press, spearheaded by a handful of bitter, vitriolic old men who view Meghan as a convenient scapegoat for their grievances. We will likely escalate their personal attacks against her and unrelenting vitriol has become a familiar narrative. That's what I just got through saying with this Tom Sykes nonsense. All of a sudden, the whole tone has continued to get lower and lower into the gutter, to the point where they're talking about some kind of sexual uh, technique that Wallace Simpson was accused of having, which she really didn't, but want to associate that with Meghan, like she did something like that to Harry, and that's why he loves her. These people are crazy, crazy. But it is getting just what I just said. It says the unrelenting vitriol has become a familiar narrative, with Meghan often dragged through the mud in a way that feels calculated, cruel, and utterly unjustified. What else can I say? That is so true. It says, so the question is, where does Meghan find the strength to endure this onslaught once again? This isn't the first time Meghan has found herself in the firing line, and it won't be the last. She has been criticized, vilified, and mocked for everything from the way she speaks to the way she holds her child. To face this, yet still supports her husband in his pursuit of justice, takes a strength most of us can only aspire to. Exactly. I just said that. She is such a much better woman than me. Harry knew who he was choosing, because I think back to this squatty who said that if he had chosen somebody from New York, it would have been a whole different party. All I can say is I'm from down south. If he had chose somebody from down south, it still would have been a whole different party. I'm just saying. And it says, to face this is still, yet still support her husband in the pursuit of justice, take the strengths most of us can only aspire to. Meghan is not a woman who shrinks in the face of adversity. Her resilience, cultivated through the years of navigating hostile media, requires an extraordinary mental fortitude, the kind that only a truly exceptional person could sustain. Lord have mercy, that's the truth. Is that not the truth? Oh my God, I am in love with this article. It says Harry's battle against the press, and most broadly against those who have sought to dismantle his dignity, has become the central to his life's purpose. In many ways, it defines his legacy, not just for his family, but for his mother, Princess Diana, who herself was hounded by these very forces. And while we admire Harry for his courage, it's Meghan who stands quietly beside him, bearing the brunt of an almost obsessive hatred from certain media quarters. The, relentless, the relentless nature of this attack is often cruelly disappropriate, as if she was existent, as if her mere existence is an affront to their established order of tabloid journalism. That is so true. So true. But Meghan, who knows the real Meghan, not the grotesque caricature often depicted in the press. She loves her husband deeply. It is the love that transcends the day to day challenges of the extraordinary life, media attention, and public scrutiny. This is not a fragile love, it is unbreakable, formed in a crucible of mutual support and shared values. I love this. I love this. And Meghan is that girl. Don't get it twisted. She is that girl. And I just said it earlier in this podcast. Megan's spine has steel in it. It does. She will not bend. And I'm going to put this up for what this squatty said. It says she has been through hell and back since marrying into that family as the only biracial, self made, established woman. They will protect the others, but they wouldn't protect Meghan. But even with the daily attacks from both media, Meghan Markle continues to show up and do good. Yes, she does. Put this up, me being messy. I'm still gonna be messy. Y'all see this picture of Harry. Every time y'all see that, y'all know I'm gonna be messy. And I just want to roll this one back as we go out the door. I want to be messy about continuing to remind people that I see why the royal family welcomed Mike Tyndall and James Middleton with open arms. Mike cheats on his wife, and James is married but like men. All right, y'all. Let's get up here with Kitty Cat. No, wait a minute. We ain't got Kitty Cat today. We're just going to do the Sesame Squad. Yes, because I was just being messy. I told y'all that particular tweet right there, y'all will see that quite often. Because I will never ever let Mike Tyndall forget that he is a cheater. And he should have kept his mouth closed when it came to Meghan talking about how they welcomed him in. Well, we all see how he feels welcome to other women's body parts. We all saw the pictures of him hugging and kissing and going to hotel rooms with women. And that is not allegedly. We have photographic proof of it. And the same thing with James Middleton. All of a sudden he want to talk about how Kitty Cat welcomed his wife in. And it somehow just devalues Meghan's experience with the royal family. Mm-hmm. Well, what about the men kissing on you, James, and you liking it? What about that? That's all I'm saying. Me being messy. And also, I'm going to put up here the Sassy Squad. If you mess with Harry and Meghan, we will rip your face off and do it with a smile. All right, y'all. Bye.